Hello, Oh, no, wait, different podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the latest episode of the Bunkered Podcast in association with Callaway. It is the Open Preview. Oh, my word, the Open Championship is happening. It's right around the corner. It's crept up on us from nowhere. It feels like only a couple of days ago we were at Augusta National recording the Masters commutes. But no, it's time for the Open. Very, very excited. I always love this episode of the podcast every year. It's always a lot of fun to do. So there's plenty to discuss, and let's face it, the Open is a rather special event. The most special of all? Well, that's a matter of opinion, isn't it? And two men who are absolutely full of those. Bunkered gear editor James Tate and performance editor Lewis Fraser. Gentlemen, hello. How are we?
Hello, Michael. Yeah, doing well, thank you. A long week of checking the weather forecast awaits.
Yeah,
it's the best
100%.
week of the year.
We all turn into like Judith Ralston or Sean Batty or Michael Fish for those of a certain vintage. As golf journalists, we get absolutely obsessed with the forecast at this time.
Met office just gets refreshed every 5 minutes.
Yeah, 100%.
There's wind picking up on Tuesday at 3 o'clock. What's going to happen?
I'd love to be the guy in charge of the website at the Met office, just looking at the analytics.
Sweating.
On the middle Wednesday of July every year. It's like, this has just been some peak of traffic and I can't possibly figure out why. Mate,
hang on.
I have the answer for you. So, yeah.
Open week.
James, how you feeling about it?
I'm absolutely buzzing. It's my favourite time of the year. I think so many...
Apart from Christmas.
No. Oh, yeah, Christmas.
No, Open's better than Christmas.
We'll come back to that.
Right.
Sorry, James.
That's an unpopular opinion right there.
What?
Christmas versus the Open. Let us know. No, it's my favorite time of the year, as well as Christmas. But yeah, so many fun memories. Luckily enough to grow up in St Andrews, so seen some incredible Opens. Tiger springs to mind.
Yeah.
Watching him, but then even on watching it on the telly, I still think sometimes being at the Open is amazing and getting the buzz in the atmosphere. But sometimes the best seat in the house is in your house watching on the telly as well.
You wake up in the morning and it was on.
Yeah.
You know, it's
100%.
started already. It's usually John Daly is 6 holes deep whilst you're eating your Cheerios.
Yeah, or you're like, who the hell is this Ben Curtis and Todd Hamilton guy? Do you know, it's one of those, like the Open does have those guys that come out of nowhere. You've never heard of them. But then, you know, guys like Todd Hamilton, he's the reason why the hybrid's so popular. Because he obviously used that Sonartec.
R.I.P. Sonartec.
I know, sorry about that. But also, the brands are thanking you very much. And then you've had like the battle with Tom Watson and Stuart Sink as well, and just like stuff like that. I just love it. I just can't wait.
Yeah.
So yeah, really looking forward to this week.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Lewis, right?
Yes, go on.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Why is it less popular than the Open?
Well, it's not less popular. I just prefer the Open.
Why?
Someone's getting cold.
I do not prefer...
How shit were Christmases in your house? What's going on there?
Cold for
I'm
the
a massive
fire.
golf fan, so the Open's better.
Present? Honestly, what present are you expecting next week?
What you want from Santa?
Well, I've golf stuff from Santa, so when it comes round to the Open, I can use it or watch others using it.
I can list about 6 different ways that Christmas is better than the Open.
Go on.
Dinner. You're not going to eat a turkey dinner with all the trimmings at any point next week.
No.
Presents. You're not going to get, I'm sorry, but you're not getting a present next week. A tree. There are typically no trees on links courses.
No. A tree.
Santa Claus. Santa is way more entertaining than any of the golfers out there.
No.
Just
name someone more entertaining than Santa Claus.
Jordan Spieth.
The movies. There are better Christmas movies.
The movies.
It's just ridiculous.
That is a piss
Jordan
take.
Smith is greater than Santa.
Yeah,
right.
I'm taking that. I'll give you the movies, though.
You are right at the top.
Producer Dex, help me out here. What's going on? Has he been drinking?
I know listeners are going to be
top of the naughty list.
Table. Nah, the listeners are going to back me up on this.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
This is ridiculous.
They've tuned out.
After that Jordan Spieth comment, you're in timeout.
Thinking back to his win. Yeah.
I'm stunned by this. Right. So clearly Lewis has been drinking. Right. Speaking of which, if you are watching on our YouTube channel, then you may have noticed a special bottle sitting on our desk. For those of you listening, let me describe it. It is, well, for a start, it's a beautiful bottle. And it's the 2025 limited edition Open Special Gin, the official gin of the Open that we've been sent a bottle of by the good people at, well, Ben Lomond, Loch Lomond Malt, I think it is involved as well. So This gin here, well, for a start, it's bright blue.
It
It is blue.
It's very, very
really
blue.
nice. Yeah.
But I
Open
like it because it
Championship
says
blue.
it's been foraged with botanicals from around the golf course. So specifically, I
Okay.
think around Portrush.
Oh, that's
If I
cool.
look in the back, listen, you can hear that for those of you listening on.
I promise I've not opened it.
I soon will. But yeah, amongst those things that are involved, wild carrot seed, hawthorn leaf, and sea buckthorn. It says, famed for their undulating grounds, carpeted in the heady mix of groomed fairways and wild drafts, where golfers are exposed to unpredictable elements of coastal weather. The link-style courses at the centre of the Open are truly a challenge forged by nature. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah,
I
I
like
was thinking exactly the same.
Oh, stunning.
it. Smells fantastic. So
Producer Dex is shaking his head on that little pop.
So
Brilliant.
yeah, if you're looking for something to accompany you during the broadcast of the Open, during the live footage,
Drink
then
responsibly.
highly recommend this. Yes, do drink responsibly. Over 18s only. All the usual bits and pieces. But that Ben Lomond official gin of the Open, I'm going to put it right.
Lovely,
there.
jubbly.
Lewis has clearly had a bottle of it this morning, hence some of
Nonsense.
the takes.
He's just had a sniff.
Well, Christmas is good for the drink. That's another thing, isn't it? So you don't
Oh,
really
he's,
get
he's trying to bat.
there's pros and cons.
Yes, upside
But
and
Jordan
downside.
Speed
Upside
is
and
better than
swings
that.
and roundabouts.
They're
Yeah.
both good.
They're both great. Yeah, I'm not
No one's
saying that
complaining.
Christmas is bad. It's like the par 3 thing again, saying that I hate short par 3s. It's not true.
You hate Christmas. What's wrong with you? Anyway, right,
Every
gentlemen, there is a
single
lot
week,
to
man.
discuss, and time is of the essence. So let's talk memories of the Open growing up before we get into this week specifically, because there's a lot we need to discuss around, this week, Portrush, some of the players that are coming up. Even behind the scenes, there's quite a significant change compared to last year, which we'll talk about. But I want to talk about your own memories of the Open growing up, because this is the first Bunker Podcast Open preview that you guys have done. James, you hinted at it there, you grew up in St Andrews.
Yeah.
There's not many better places to grow up for an Open Championship, is there? What's your earliest memory of the Open?
Earliest memory of the Open, it's definitely Tiger. I think when he won first time round,
2000, yeah.
yeah, it was pretty cool, and that memory always stays with me, because that was the same time that I got the lesson from Butch Harmon when
We're talking about
in St.
that again,
Andrews.
aye?
No, but we're talking about memories. That's what stays with me, because obviously he won. I had that experience as well, but the town was just absolutely rammed. People were coming from far and wide, as they say.
Mhm.
But there was just such a buzz and an energy around it. But yeah, getting to see Tiger Woods and watch him win kind of in your hometown.
Complete the career Grand Slam as well, let's not forget.
There wasn't really, it's hard to top that, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was just absolutely unreal. I think the closest was when I first started here at Bunkered, and then going to the 150th at St Andrews.
Yep, 2022.
And just standing in that massive stand at the back of 17, and just looking, like you could see all the way down 17, all the way down the second. You just make out the tee shot on the third, and see everyone kind of coming down the first and then going up 18 as well. And I was just like, and it was beautiful sunshine, not really a breath of wind, and I'm like, doesn't get much better than it.
Yeah, pretty special.
yeah.
What's St Andrews like, say, a week after the Open? Because we're all used to seeing it during Open week, when it's busy, when it's packed, when it's all happening.
Mm-hmm.
But
afterwards,
it returns to normality pretty quickly, does it not?
Business as usual, as they say. I mean, it's one of the busiest golf destinations in the world. So you're still getting all the tourists coming through, and they'll still all have their tee times or their ballot times to play the old course. There's a lot, even the day after, I'm pretty sure the courses normally will take invites or sponsors in to kind of play the day after. Or there'll be something going on like that where you can play from the Open Championship tees as well. Which
They do a similar thing at Augusta from memory.
Oh, here he just had to.
Well, you
throw that
brought
in.
it up.
I didn't bring up Augusta.
Yeah, we brought up media ballots on a Monday.
Yeah, I did. But yeah, there's that kind of opportunity as well to kind of play on the same tees as the pros. So imagine just being able to play the day after Tigers won the Slam. That would have been pretty cool. So But no, business as usual the day after, but the town is still absolutely heaving. Like, it doesn't really change. They're just not the same intensity. Like, you don't have all the brands, advertisers, and everyone in town. They've obviously left, but there's still golfers living out their kind of bucket list dreams, shall we say. So the buzz is always still pretty good.
Lewis, how about you? Memories of the Open growing up? Where does it start?
One that, maybe not start, but one that stands out for me is being there in 2010. Actually, the grandstand that you're talking about, James, like behind 17. I would have been 11 at the time, watching like Louis Oosthuizen win by like a hatful of shots, I think 6 or 7 in the end. Just remember like having watched it growing up, living in Inverness, like you're kind of miles away, but when you're young, it feels like you're quite a long way away from actually what's happening, and then being able to go. The first ones we got tickets for the Wednesday, which is like practice day, not pro-am in the Open, and just remember thinking it's incredible. I have a specific memory of seeing John Daly in the 9th green, thinking that's incredible. Like the guy just walking about like with his bad trousers on, thinking that's so cool. But then we went back on the Sunday, and I just have this most vivid memory. I was there with my granddad who got me into golf, and watching like the sheer scale of the event just lives with me for a wee boy at the time. Seeing like the best players in the world, and then again, like it's kind of hazy from what you would be as a kid, but I just remember we were waiting to cross the fairway on 17 and watching Oosthuizen like walk right past me, and I could see like how much it meant to him because he'd won it at this point. Basically, like he hadn't hit it into the jigger in, so he knew he was going to win. And just thinking like how incredible like a scene it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, that kind of memory from that point, like I was hooked with golf. Like it sounds like a lot to say, but that's kind of a core memory.
You know what?
Me.
I totally
cool.
get that though. Because I mean,
Yeah.
you're saying that growing up in Inverness, it still felt like it was quite far away. But I would suggest that maybe the opposite's kind of true in some ways, because I grew up in the Highlands as well. As you know, I grew up even further north. And the Open is probably one of the few massive sporting events that feels quite close to home, that's accessible. The Super Bowl is a whole continent away, a whole ocean away. The 100 metres Olympics final is never going to get anywhere close.
Yeah.
I mean, London's as close as it gets. The World Cup's never going to come to Glasgow.
Yeah.
Formula One, Silverstone way down south. Wimbledon's near London. The Open is the one that, you know, for communities like ours, you know, Inverness, Orkney, you know, places like Pitlochry or Southport, for example, way down in the, you know, well, even Portrush, let's be honest, places like Coleraine, the Open is the one that comes to us, that feels close to us, that is something that we can actually go and see and experience. So I think that's part of the charm of it as well, is that it brings top-level sport that's internationally regarded, watched around the world. It brings it to us. And I think that's part of the thing that makes it just so special. Yeah. I mean, like, it's funny you mentioned John Daly. Again, one of my earliest memories of the Open is 95 when he won. Watching that at home in Orkney on our 4-channel televisions was back. There were only 4 channels on the TV back then, gents.
Yeah.
I know. I'm not that much.
Go on.
Nice.
And yeah, you know, he was on TV wearing his Reebok jumper, which I had a version of. So I'm thinking, what? I have that.
Yeah.
What's he doing wearing that? His big blonde mullet, which I didn't have. No. But it just, the Open has a charm, has a personality, has an aura, that is quite distinct. You know what? It is distinct. In fact, it goes as far as to say it's unique in sport.
Yeah,
it's really special. So that's why I'm so excited about next week. I know that you guys are excited about it as well. Lewis, talk to me about your expectations for the week ahead at Royal Portrush. What you, in a broad sense, what are you expecting to see?
I think the golf course will be like a big talking point this week. We mentioned the weather forecast. There's not really any rain in that, so I'm expecting...
so far.
Yeah, so far. Yeah. I'll jinx that, sorry. But I'm expecting a firm, fast course, which is what you want in the Open at the end of the day. So classic kind of links test for players, which I'm really excited about. I've some friends who've played the course like fairly recently have said the rough's really thick as well. So
good.
Yeah, good. And that's the perfect combination, really. Like, you miss fairways, hit it in thick rough, then you've got to try and land it on a really firm green. I'm expecting a brilliant week. Links golf overall.
Yeah.
Excited.
You and I are going over. We're going to spend a week out there.
Yes.
James, unfortunately, you're not making the journey over with us because you've got other things in your diary.
Yes.
But as you said, you've been to Opens plenty of times, so you kind of know what to expect by now. What are you expecting from Portrush?
I just can't wait for a start. But I think, Lewis has kind of hit the nail on the head. It's going to be firm. It's going to be fast. If the wind picks up, which let's be honest, it will at some point. Maybe not in the.
You've been to Northern Ireland.
Right.
I can tell, yeah. You're familiar with the north coast of the Emerald Isle.
So it's going to be a good test, but I think there's just going to be I reckon it's going to be really, really close. I think it's going to come down to the wire.
You think so?
Yeah, I have a feeling that it's really going to come down to the last kind of couple holes, and I have a feeling there's a certain hole which could play a part.
Yes, we'll talk more about that
maybe
a little bit
being
later.
a little bit of a card buster, which I had the joy to hit 500 shots into. But I do think it is going to be a great test. But I do think it's going to be close. I don't think anyone's going to necessarily run away with it. Famous last words, that could obviously happen. We could have a repeat of Louis Oosthuizen, who obviously ran away with it. But I don't.
Which we don't want.
No.
You don't want a procession or a coronation. You want to see a battle till the end.
I mean, he got incredibly lucky with the weather, and then it turned.
Yeah.
It turned, which can happen, obviously, as we know with links golf. It could be black ham in the morning and then blowing an absolute hurricane in the afternoon. But I don't think we're going to get that. I think we're going to see a great test of golf. There's going to be a lot of golfers tested, especially with their short game. And I just think it's going to be an incredible week of golf.
So let's talk about Royal Portrush then, obviously the host venue. We're going to talk about players in a little while, some of the runners and riders, but the course is the star of Open Week, let's be honest. Certainly the early part. It's the thing that everybody's playing against. So Royal Portrush, it'll be played on the Dunluce Links, one of two 18-hole courses there, the other being the Valley Links. The Valley Links, funnily enough, is the course used by Rathmore Golf Club, which sits right next to the main entrance. So if you're going to Portrush, you'll see Rathmore. From memory, in 2019, its doors were open all week. I went in there after long days every night and treated myself to a pint of Guinness. And great club, great members, one of whom is Graham McDowell.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, they play off the Valley Links, but no, the Dunluce is going to be the one that they're using for the Open. Third time hosting the championship. First of those, obviously, way back in 1951, the first time the Open hadn't been held on the island of Great Britain. I'm being very particular around my phrasing.
Yes.
Because people get very, very particular. Maybe rightly so. Maybe rightly so about geography. But yeah, that was the first time it was held on the island, outside the island of Great Britain. Big long wait until 2019 when it returned. Shane Lowry, of course, getting across the line on that occasion, pipping Tommy Fleetwood, as I recall. So 6 years after that, we're going back, a bit like London buses, wait for a long time, and then two kind of show up all at once. Lewis, surprised we're going back to Portrush so soon?
Yeah, slightly. It's quite soon. You look at how often courses hold the Open, and look at like Lytham. It's not had an Open for a long time, has it?
13 years now.
Yeah, so slightly surprised, but then Royal Portrush is iconic, really, and it's
why is it iconic? What's iconic about it?
You're right. You mentioned the fact it's only hosted the Open twice, but it doesn't feel like that. In that it's a synonymous name. Like people around the world know about Royal Portrush. People in Australia might not know about some other Open venues, but everyone seems to know about Portrush. I think the championship, the last time it was there, was fantastic. Having Shane Lowry win it as well is a massive boost for
an Irishman winning on the island of Ireland.
Doesn't
get better.
The first time it's come back in like 70 odd years. So yeah, for that reason, it's just an iconic venue that sort of transcends the sport. You know, golfers know about Birkdale and Lytham, but non-golfers know about Royal Portrush. So there's just that kind of aura to it, I suppose.
Yeah.
Before you even get into like the golf course itself. But,
yeah, that is a phenomenal golf course. James, tell me a bit about that. I mean, what kind of golf course is it? Yeah, I know it's a links. All right,
it's a links.
It's not. not expecting you to go, oh, well, it's a classic Heathland track, actually, and it's a tree line fairways. No, I mean, it's clearly a classic links, but what's distinct about it? What separates it from other links golf courses?
I think it's, well, you mentioned it earlier, there's not a tree in sight for a start, so you're not going to be hitting out of trees or anything. You're going to be hitting out of the thickest rough. And I think what you're going to see this week is when guys miss the tee, they're going to be hacking it out. They're not going to be, hitting greens. They're going to be playing for position as well. Not only that, if you're hitting fairways, the ball's going to be running miles as well. So there's going to be long drives, which necessarily isn't going to be the best thing in certain scenarios, because you might actually just run straight off the fairway and then get yourself in a little bit of trouble, or find a pot bunker.
Yes,
which is going to be very difficult. But I think, it's going to be very interesting. But one thing that I do know is Mr. McIlroy holds the course record there.
So can we still claim that as the course record? Because
As
the Dunluce
61.
but the Dunluce has changed quite a bit. They made some changes to it in time for the Open going back in 2019. So 17th and 18th holes of the original course, I think the one that Rory had a 61 on, they got replaced by 2 new holes.
They did.
On land that was part of the Valley Links back then, and other changes as well. So what we still giving Rory that record?
James is.
I am. They are on their website. So
all right.
So
Because
I double checked, and I was like, is that still classified as a record? And I was like, well, still on the Portrush website. So if they say it is,
Is a
that's
scorecard
good.
on the
It's good
clubhouse
by
wall?
me. yeah.
It's funny, Rory 61, let's say that was the old course record. Shane Lowry, a 63 in 2019, is apparently the new course record. Par 71, the golf course, incidentally. So, all right, I'll give you your Rory line. And you were so chuffed there. I could see I could see your eyes light up. You're like, I've got a little nugget. I'm going to tell you something.
Yeah.
And I've just punctured your balloon. So sorry about that.
Amateur course record. He was an amateur at the time, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was young.
Amateur course record.
I'm sure that Rory was. What was he?
Like 16 or something?
Yeah,
maybe even younger than
that.
that.
Yeah, he was quite young.
Yeah. Playing in the north of Ireland, I think, or something like that.
It was the Northern Ireland Amateur Championship.
See, told you.
And then
Oh God.
Sorry. And then Bradley Neal won the Amateur Championship there as well.
Right enough, yeah.
When John Ram was in.
All right. Jesus, it's like you've swallowed Wikipedia.
I was just, just a bag full of knowledge.
Don't use all your facts in the one go. Lewis.
Yes.
Where's the Open going to be won and lost specifically on this golf course?
On the greens, as most Opens are. But you look at 2019, because I have quite a small sample size for Open Championships anyway. But you look at 2019, Shane Lowry, brilliant iron player, really underrated part of his game.
Yeah.
Tommy Fleetwood, he mentioned, brilliant at that. Lee Westwood was up there.
Yeah,
fantastic
that's right.
Iron player. Koepka was in contention as well.
Yeah,
he was.
So approach play, clearly something that's going to be important. But
was that a consequence of the conditions more so than anything else, do you reckon? Because let's not forget, I mean, there's a big elephant in the room.
Yeah.
2019, the weather, not the best.
Not the best.
I mean, certainly that final day as well, it was grim.
It was grim. Yeah, which has probably played into Shane's hands because he can...
He likes bad weather. He's a good bad weather golfer.
We all know that, and he's grown up with it on courses like that, which is a massive help. But no, where is it going to be won and lost? It's the same as every other Open with putting.
Greens.
Think about Cam Smith at St Andrews, not the best ball striker, but he putted the lights out in the back nine and ended up winning.
That was ridiculous.
So you can end up hitting a decent iron shot and you could be 90 feet away, 100 feet away in the greens. You just need to have good hands to be able to deal with that.
Yeah.
And then if you're short-sided, like pot bunkers, James mentions, having good hands around the greens, so crucial.
Yeah.
And
short game and putting.
Short game and putting is something that you can measure, but also you need to be able to play these shots. I think you've grown up with it, like Shane Lowry has.
Yeah.
Going to be crucial. So around the greens is key.
You can't be one-dimensional. I think that's also the key around the links course. It's like I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of guys using maybe like 7 irons and trying to run the ball up, or using the putter from like a little bit further back on certain shots just to really...
Certainly if it is as firm and as fiery as we're hoping it's going to be.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got to have some shots in the armory to be able to handle a course like that. If the greens are as fast as what we're we're expecting, because you catch like a little swale or slope that kind of takes you off the green.
Mm-hmm.
You'd find yourself in a bit of bother instead of, just falling off the green to the fringe or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably looking at an easy up and down for a par. But if you fall into that slightly thicker rough, you might be struggling to get up and down.
Lewis, you spent some time at the Scottish Open.
Yes.
You spoke to some players about changes that they're making in their bags. Interested to see that Ben Ann has made an interesting tweak.
Yeah.
He's going with a 1-iron, so
Yeah.
you anticipating he's going to take that into Portrush as well?
Definitely.
And is he just an outlier, or is that something you're expecting to see more of? Players spinning, I know there's a big 7-wood phenomenon on the tour right now, for example. You expecting to see players going back to 1 and 2 irons at Portrush if, again, the conditions are as we expect?
Well, Ben Ann is definitely an outlier in this case. And it's the extreme example. And he's used a 1-iron for quite a while. He told me he puts a 7-wood in every so often. He's playing at the US Open where there's thick rough and he's going to be hitting long shots into par 5s. But you're right. A lot of players who have, if it's mini drivers or 7-woods or even 5-woods, are going to possibly take them out of play and put 2 irons in. Players travel with 16, 17 clubs and just switch around. We see it with Rory all the time. Like, he carries a 2-iron, which I would expect to go in this week. Someone like Scheffler might take a 7-wood out, put a 2-iron in. It's conditions dependent as well, because if it's fairly calm, then they might still look to have that club that they can hit higher and get to stop on the greens.
Mm-hmm.
Having the 2-iron off the tee is great because you can get it to run for miles, get it on the ground quickly. Whereas if you're hitting into a par 5, you want something that comes in high and soft, then the fairway wood might actually be the better option. So a lot of players will leave it until the last day. You watch practice round, quite often caddies are lugging about bags with like 4 or 5 extra clubs, whether it's different wedges as well. That's probably the biggest change that players will make, is looking at bounces and grinds and wedges. Xander Schauffele spoke about it in his press conference yesterday, about how he's trying to just experiment with different grinds on his wedges so that he's not hitting the firm turf, like hitting a snooker table before he hits the ball and then it's bouncing and he's knifing it through the back of the green, something a bit shallower that's going to give him a bit more relief, really. So, yeah, there's a lot of tweaks that players will make going into this week, and they'll try and make it at the Scottish Open if they can and have it fully kind of set up for Portrush.
James, you mentioned a particular hole earlier, so let's talk about that in a bit more detail. Calamity Corner, the par 3 16th. I hesitate to reignite this debate, but have we finally potentially found a short hole that's over 200 yards that's actually any good?
Yes.
Tell me more.
Yeah, it's a cracking hole. The green's actually a fairly decent size, but what I would say, we obviously did it for Wilson Wednesday for 4 hours, and I actually learned quite a lot in those 4 hours about that golf hole. You've got quite a drastic kind of slope at the front that if you come up short, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Even if you pitch it slightly just on the front right side of the green, it will fall off right. If the pin is front left and you get it slightly wrong and you decide to go at it and you maybe start left and it drifts left, it will catch this little swale and funnel into a little kind of like gully, shall we say. So I think because it is that little bit longer and maybe the wind's kind of, coming off the tee, like it's going to play really long and it's going to test a lot of guys as well. But I think what you will see is guys falling into that kind of right side of it, maybe bailing out, trying to just put it into the middle or the right kind of center of the green. Because if you kind of go left of the green, you're just in more rough and on hills, and you're actually going to have a harder shot because you're going to be on a downhill slope and rough rather than being in the rough on the right side and kind of hitting something up and down. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting, especially with the green kind of slightly sloped. There was a couple of times actually where I hit a shot in there, and if you catch it a little bit too short, the ball doesn't actually jump and release forward. It actually kind of kills it. So center of the green is where a lot of these guys are going to be trying to just hit the ball. And to be honest, even if it falls a little bit left side or right side, as long as they're kind of hitting their number, they'll be okay. But if they get it short and get it slightly wrong or it holds up in the wind, they're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Lewis, uphill 236 yards. Again,
I know what you're going to ask.
Again, I suppose it's largely going to be weather dependent whether or not it plays the full 236 under severe conditions. I know the RNA will just move the tee somewhat forward, but you feel a bit of vindication for your standing up for 200 plus yard par
I knew
three?
this was coming. I knew this. Obviously, I knew the open venue this year. So when we were talking about it, I had it in the back of my mind and knew this was going to be a conversation. So yeah, of course I feel vindicated. And you was right. People were texting me saying that I was correct. So I don't need any.
You must be then.
Extra.
Yeah, if your pals are texting going, you were right.
Yeah, of course I feel vindication. It's a great hole. And it's long. So let's not get back into this again.
Let's not.
No.
Yeah. But that seems to be the...
that's the consensus.
It's a great looking
It seems to be that is where the Open is going to be. A lot of people are of the opinion that that's going to be a pivotal hole for the Open. Is there anything else on the golf course that catches your eye that you think, actually, let's not worry too much about Calamity Corner because this also should be drawing your attention?
It's that closing stretch as a whole. You'll know better than us, Mike, who have been there in 2019, but even if you get through 16, 17 and 18, there are no pushovers.
I mean, 17 is called Purgatory, which I think tells its own story.
Yeah. And then 18 is like pushing 500 yards, like par 4. So if you're coming in there with a 1 or 2 shot leads, even if you get through 16, you're not relaxing. So it's one of those that there's mention about Oosthuizen. If he's 6 shot lead is obviously drastically different to what we might expect. But if someone's coming into the last with a 2 shot lead and they're facing bad weather, they've got a really tough hole there, then it's not, the Open's not going to be done even if you get through 16. So that closing stretch is kind of the pivotal points I think that we're going to see this week.
Okay. So that's plenty on the course, I think, for now. Let's talk about other things and other people. And it's tempting to start with the players, but I want to start with somebody else who's in for unquestionably a very big week, and that's Mark Darbin. It's the RNA chief executive's first real moment in the spotlight since he took post at the start of the year. Big shoes to fill, succeeding Martin Slumbers, who had his own big shoes to fill, succeeding Peter Dawson. It's a big gig, obviously, not to understate it too much, but being the chief executive of the RNA, big job, and the Open is to some extent where these guys get judged. It's certainly where they get grilled. And Mark is going to face the media we expect on Wednesday, continuing that trend of the RNA's date with the press. He's going to have a lot of questions.
Yes.
It's going to get posed. I expect that things like, Turnberry is going to come up, as it always does. The relationship with Donald Trump, because obviously Mark Darbin hinted earlier this year that maybe he's got a softer stance as far as the US president and his golf properties go than his predecessor did. But it feels like certainly the media have the opportunity, and I hope we as the media take it, to prod and to try and get to know Mark a little bit better, understand what his values are, where he stands, etc. If there's anything I've learned from going to these press conferences for the last 20 years, it's that the person receiving the questions, fielding them, is usually brilliant at dealing with them and answering them. I thought Peter Dawson was great. I thought Martin Slumbers was even better. He commanded that room. So a lot of eyeballs and potentially a lot of pressure on Mark Lewis on Wednesday. Something that, his first real public-facing moment, has to get it right, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. You're right. Big shoes to fill, because the last 2 people in this role have, like you say, commanded that room every time they do. So huge shoes to fill. And a lot, I was reading about him and he said he had a very busy in tray, which is the classic, line that you say when you come into a new job and there's a lot on your plate. He's not getting an easy kind of start to life in this role, is he?
No.
It's interesting, like there's so many new kind of faces and governance roles in golf right now, which I think is a good thing. It's fresh and positive, and Mark's a younger guy, relatively speaking, to what you might expect.
45, 46, something like that.
Mid-40s, yeah. So I'm interested to hear what he has to say. I don't know what that's going to be, because it's someone, the last decade, we've had Slumbers, but what are you expecting from him?
I don't really know just yet. I kind of expect a slightly different energy to Martin. I got on really well with Martin. I still do. I think he's a really good guy. I think he was transformative for the R&A. He was exactly the right person at exactly the right time. Now, do I agree with every decision that he made? No. Did we lock horns? Yes. But there was a real mutual respect there, and I think that everyone in the media would say that spent any time with Martin Slumbers would agree that he treated the media with great respect. He always gave good answers, always gave considered answers, made himself available, and certainly had the game of golf and its best interests at heart. What Martin didn't have, and this may have been either advantage or a disadvantage to him, he didn't come from a particular sports background. His background was finance and the city. Mark is coming from a different background altogether. Most recently, was he not chief executive at Northampton Saints Rugby?
Yeah.
So he is coming from a sport background, which means he may understand some of the challenges faced by sport in the round a little bit better than Martin did. Martin would have learned them. It was a quick study.
Yeah.
But Mark maybe has a bit more of an innate knowledge and perhaps a few more ideas, maybe some more modern ideas about how to take the R&A to the next level. Martin did a great job modernising the R&A.
Yeah.
I mean, I think back to the last interview I did with him. He was sitting there in a hoodie, for goodness sake.
Right.
I don't think Peter Dawson has ever been in a shop that sells hoodies, far less worn one. So you could see the strides that Martin had taken. My hope is that Mark will take even bigger strides because, listen, the Open can't afford to fall behind other tournaments. I don't just mean other majors, I mean other tournaments in golf. Things like the Players' Championship, for me, as a spectacle, as an event, a championship, whilst it doesn't have the history and it doesn't have the status, it gets a lot of things right. And I just worry when I look at the Open, I see sometimes an event that, is it evolving fast enough? You look around that golf course, the grandstands aren't massive. I know there's reasons for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so a customer that's sitting isn't a customer that's spending.
Yes.
So they'd rather have people moving around the property, spending money, because that's what R&A needs. It needs the Open to be commercially successful. But when I look at the media centre specifically, our environment, it hasn't changed a whole lot in the last 10 to 15 years. It's still the same tent. We still sit in the same rows. We still use the same chairs that we've used every year. You go out there onto the golf course and everything's where you kind of expect it to be. There's been a lot of slow evolution. I'm not suggesting it needs revolution. I'm just suggesting that slow evolution could maybe do with speeding up a bit. That's what I really hope we get from Mark. So when I talk about energy, that's the kind of thing that I'm hoping that we get.
Yeah.
I do think he'll listen. I haven't met the guy. I haven't spoken a word to him. Benefit of the doubt. Wish him all the best with it. It's a big job. And on Wednesday specifically, if he's not at least on some level a little bit nervous about meeting with the media and by extension the public, I'd be surprised. I hope he does well. I hope he says the right things. I'll be interested to hear the sort of questions that he gets asked. Let's just hope that, he handles it well. He gives us in the media what we need, and that come Thursday morning, no one's talking about Mark Darbin. They're talking about the golf tournament.
Yeah. What I would also say is we've not heard from him, but a couple changes to next year's Open.
Which I love.
Absolutely love it as well. The qualifying that's going to take place on Monday, last chance qualifier.
Love
which
that.
I think is
That's just brilliant.
I'd like to know who's going to be playing and how they're going to be
So
selected.
how's it working then? What's the deal?
Well, details are slightly vague on how players are going to qualify, but essentially there'll be 12 players playing at Birkdale, I believe, on the championship course on the Monday of the tournament, and whoever shoots the lowest score gets into the field for that week. So with final qualifying, you're 2 or 3 weeks advance, and that's still quite a quick turnaround. For now, 12 players are going to be invited or selected or qualify for this qualifier. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work.
So it's just a 12-player field?
Just 12 players, yeah.
That's amazing.
That's brilliant.
That is just brilliant.
Total
and
showdown.
one person gets in.
One person gets in. So if you shoot the lowest score, you're in. You're playing the
brilliant.
Open in
Death
3
match.
days.
It's like golf Squid Game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. I
Like
think that's such a good idea.
Golf's death match.
Actually, golf Squid Game, I'd watch that.
The challenges.
Yeah, if Chad
You've been
Mum and the guys at
watching, yeah.
Netflix behind Full Swing are listening, just combine that smash hit with the other smash hit, and you've got yourself the biggest thing that Netflix has ever produced.
Full like a 10-foot putt.
Brian
or
Harmon
you're
out there with the
dead.
crossbow.
Oh my god. Oh no.
So the new Squid Game's like proper dark. I watched the first one and it was like fine, whereas now that's too much. I had to switch it off.
Oh, really?
My flatmate was watching it. I was like, this is not entertainment.
I finished it last night.
Oh, really?
I won't give away anything at all
Yeah,
because
no,
there'll be people
don't spoil
listening
it.
to this who haven't seen it. But
Yep.
oh my god, what a TV
Really?
show!
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I kind of
Okay.
watched the first kind of 3 of the new season, and I was just like, I just didn't quite get into it. But if you're saying that, I'll have to.
Who would
give
be
another go.
golf's version of the front man? You know, like the guy, the mastermind of it all.
Oh,
Jay Monaghan.
Jay, definitely.
No. Greg Norman. Greg Norman's the front man.
Pushing like the little like ponds that they have, and then when someone misses their 6-foot putt,
And the
to stay
real
in it, they just
mastermind?
pipe them away.
Gary Player.
Oh god,
Gary
yeah.
Player's the man
Could you
behind it.
imagine?
Yeah.
He'd still be doing it.
Red
You know-
light, green light.
The guy who was like, my memories of the first season are vague, but there was a guy who like did it every year or something.
Yeah,
Just
the old boy.
The old boy. So that'd be
Yeah.
Gary. Going back, just doing it for the love of the game. He's completed Squid Game already. He was like,
That's brilliant.
I'll
Play
teach
number 3.
these kids how to do it. I don't know how we got into this. Sorry.
Oh,
This is
sorry,
the
we were talking
last
about Mark
chance
Darwin a couple of
qualifier.
seconds ago.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
last
yeah.
chance
All
Squid Game.
qualifier.
Golf
Yeah.
Squid Game. Yeah.
Golf Squid Games.
That should be a live event. That's how to get people
Maybe.
watching.
Yeah. Trademark.
Going from JCB to Valderrama, Dallas, Korea.
Yeah.
Squid Game.
Squid Game. Brilliant. I'd tune into that.
Yeah.
That would get viewing figures up.
100%.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Big Brain
Anyway.
Golf reignited.
Back to the event. Back
Yeah,
to the
sure.
last chance
The Open.
qualifier.
Yeah. Someone like tuned into this like half an hour through. Like, what on
what?
earth am I
Squid
listening
Games.
to here?
Tangent.
Yeah. Tangent. Proper tangent. What were we talking about? Mark Darwin. Yeah. In the qualifier, we'll be
Yeah.
great on that note.
In summary.
Yeah, in summary.
Yeah, qualifier's gonna be great.
But that's an
yeah.
example of a change that he's already made,
Mm.
isn't it?
Yes,
he's
exactly, yeah.
shown a willingness to not just sit back and
Yeah.
allow things to. He's making cool changes already. So I hope that's a sign of things to come. James, Rory McIlroy. Let's talk about him.
Yes.
Rory returns.
The return of Rory.
The return of the king.
return of
Off
the
to Royal Portrush, where he holds the course record. Obviously, last time that Rory played there, that we watched him play there in 2019, it all went Pete Tong.
It did.
From the very word go, let's be honest,
Oh.
that tee shot off the first, did he not make a quad? And then after that was battling.
Yeah.
Missed the cut, and we saw him leave the property via the shoulder of Sky Sports' Tim Barter, who he was sobbing into. A chastening experience for Rory 6 years ago. Comes back into this week, somewhat different man.
I would say so. I think, obviously, Grand Slam champ, big deal, isn't it? So he's obviously went through that little blip with the driver change and everything.
Hang on.
Whoa.
He has went through that little blip.
Yeah, I mean,
This isn't the Open Goal podcast, for crying out loud. This is the Bunker podcast. We speak properly. We use the right words. He has gone through that little blip. Not he has went through.
He has went through, gone through. Not my English isn't my first language. But he has. He struggled with the driver. He seems like he's getting it back under control. He's playing a little bit better. But yeah, the 79 opening round in 2019 wasn't the best, and it definitely wasn't the best viewing either. However, in the second round, he did shoot at 65 and somewhat redeemed himself. He did miss the cut by 1. But it is Rory McIlroy, home turf. You're expecting him to do something. Is that expectation going to be maybe weighing heavily on his shoulders? And is the kind of the nightmare start of 2019 going to be in the back of his mind when he's
You tell me, is it? It's not. Let's be honest. Rory's not thinking about stuff that happened 6 years ago.
Well, you say that, but then it took him so long to obviously get the Masters over the line, and he had that kind of in the back of his head as well.
Fair.
So
I mean, it's somewhat different.
it is different, but does he dwell on things that have happened in the past? Yes, he does to a certain extent. So I think I think he will be approaching it differently. He has obviously got the green jacket pick, but he has been struggling to find that motivation. I think this could be hopefully the turning point where he's like, right, I really want this badly. Are we going to see a different Rory McIlroy where he's really kind of like focused this week? I hope so. And I hope he gets off to a good start because...
Well, it's the same as always with Rory, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good start.
Good starts.
He might contend. Bad start, he's out of the tournament.
Yeah.
There's no in between.
He usually gets better as the tournament goes on. So I would like to see that 65 happen at the start rather than in the second round and then miss the cut by one. So I think if he gets off to that flying start, which we know he can do, we'll see an in contention Rory McIlroy this week for sure.
Okay. Lewis, James mentions there the sort of motivational aspect of it, which is true.
Yeah.
You know, Rory has admitted himself now multiple times that he's struggled for, I guess, the why.
Yeah.
Now that he's completed the career Grand Slam. It's something we've spoken about at length in the last couple of months. But if he can't get motivated by an Open Championship on home soil, you know, literally a matter of miles from where he grew up, then what else can he get motivated by? The other thing I would say is that we don't know when the Open's going back to Portrush. Best case scenario, probably another 6 years from now.
Yeah.
By which time Rory's going to be 42. So if he wants to win the Open at Portrush, I reckon he's probably realistically got this chance and maybe one more. So there is that little bit of pressure that must be festering on his mind.
Definitely. But pressure is something that you put on yourself. For Rory, the pressure's always been trying to win career Grand Slam. I think he'll be so motivated to do well this week and win. But putting pressure on himself, I don't know if that's going to be back to like it was in 2019. Clearly, that was an issue.
Trying too hard.
Trying way too hard. Like, just not letting himself play the golf that he can. He's had a terrible first round, as James says. He's come out the second round and actually just freewheeled to an extent and done what he can do around there. He needs to take that attitude into the first, then not think about the things that we're talking about here, and that this realistically could be his last chance to win at Royal Portrush, maybe depending on how the dates fall. So he needs to go in with that mindset of just trying to play golf and block out everything else. Incredibly difficult to do because there's going to be tens of thousands of fans cheering for him, and he just needs to block that out. Don't put any added pressure.
Embrace it differently. Blocking it out is one thing. I don't know if you necessarily can do that.
No.
I don't know if that is good for Rory because I don't think that's how he plays week in, week out. I think he does listen. I think he does pay attention to what's going on in his orbit. It's just how he embraces it, I think, is the important factor. Rory, he's such a passionate player. He's such a fiery player. But I think when he's at his best, he's just, well, free-peeling's one way of putting it. I think the other way is he's just playing completely by instinct, you know, not too much in his own head and playing more from his hands than from his head.
Yeah.
I think that's when Rory plays his best stuff. So I must admit, I'm slightly concerned because he's put a little target on this week since winning the Masters and since having that little slump. He seems to be really invested in a sense of not just this is exciting, this is something to look forward to, but he's looking at it as a case of this is the thing where I'm going to turn my year back around. This is the thing that's going to reignite the spark. So there's excitement, but he's now applied a little bit of pressure. He's got stuff riding on this week that wasn't there a couple of months ago, which it's baggage, isn't it?
It is baggage, yeah. Well, like you say, with the Masters, we've seen that in that every week. That's the, in your calendar and you put a little X in the big day, that is it. And now you're right. For this year, now that he's won the Masters, everything has been leading up to this week. I just hope that he can do himself justice, really, not let the occasion kind of get to him. And I don't think it will. I think he'll perform well. He's had the demons of 6 years ago. I don't think that's going to happen again. He's a completely different man now, and he's matured.
In what way? What way is he different?
Well, he's completed
he's got the monkey off his back, which
the Everest,
is one, but...
as we talk about, and I think he's more mature. He's seen so much more like through the last 6 years on the golf course than what he had back in 2019. I think he's a better player as well. He's got those shots like the spoken about, kind of holding off wedge shots and short irons, things like that. Just bit more maturity around the way that he plays is going to be really crucial once he just gets off the first tee and hopefully his ball is in play on the golf course in a reasonable position where he can then hit the green and think, right, that's done.
Not nestling in that internal out of bounds.
Yeah,
which by the way is an absolute abomination.
Yeah,
internal out of
stupid.
bounds, hate it.
Especially at a links course.
Yeah.
Like,
Like Hoylake's got it, doesn't it? Come down, is
I
it
don't-
18? Maybe up the side of 3 as well. Just
Stupid.
But
You're on the
regardless,
golf course.
Regardless, just get it in play off the first and
Yeah.
then make a 4, and then you can stop worrying about that, which I don't think he will be worrying massively about it. But you're right. This stuff like that sticks with you. It's impossible to forget,
Yeah,
especially
100%.
when you've not played an Open there since then.
So we're going to do predictions in part 2. So I'm not going to ask you how you think Rory's going to, I'm not going to ask you for specifics about predictions for Rory. Instead, we'll just do a thumbs up, thumbs down, good week, bad week. So we'll have a good week, yes or no. Thumbs up for a good week. We've got thumbs up from both of them. James is slightly tilting, sort of 50-50.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a thumbs up as well. I'm hopeful for Rory. I guess it's one of those ones where my heart is overruling my head. My head says that there's just too much baggage, that he's applying a little bit of pressure again, as I say, that wasn't there a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
He's not really firing on all cylinders. Granted, we're recording this before the Scottish Open is concluded, but
Tough, isn't it?
it's tough. It's tough. Right, before we get to the break, gents, usually at this point we do asked and answered. I'm going to flip it up this week because I want to do something I've not done with you guys yet on the podcast, which is a quiz.
Here we go.
Love a quiz.
Come on.
Go on.
You're going down this.
Right.
We're actually working together.
Okay, we're going to win this.
All right.
So, what I want you to do is go backwards and tell me the winner of the Open Championship as far back as you can take it before making a mistake.
Right.
I'm going to play against you both because
Right.
you're playing together, but I'm going to tell you how far back I think you'll get.
All right.
I reckon you'll go back as far as 2002 before you make a mistake.
Right.
So if you guys
that's
can
the
get past
over
that,
under.
you win.
Okay, right.
So-
we'll get to 2001.
No mistakes allowed. You
Right.
can confer, but
Confer.
no mistakes allowed. Go. 2024, who won?
Xander Schauffele,
23,
Ryan Harmon,
2022.
James.
That wasn't James.
Wrong
Wrong.
to me.
See, this is where. So
Notice I'm not telling you about venues or anything like that.
yeah,
either.
no, it's
Figure
true.
that out for yourselves.
Cam Smith was.
Yeah.
Was in the year before. Get confused with COVID. No, yeah, that was Cam Smith.
Yeah, Cam Smith was 22.
Correct. 21.
That was.
Loving your lack of contribution here, James,
Yeah,
by the
I
way.
know. I'm waiting for anything from the big
Lewis's
man. Yeah.
shoulders are packing in.
Yeah.
And that's not a good idea when you've got ribs like his.
No.
Oh, gents, it was 4 years ago.
Yeah, I know. James.
I'm trying. My memory's not that great.
I said 2002 here.
Yeah.
Genuinely, I might have said 2012 or maybe 2022. Would you remember? Closer to that.
Come on, James.
I'm just trying to go back on venues.
Morikawa.
Correct.
I knew that. I was waiting.
By the way,
Yeah.
you boys wobbled there.
No, I knew that.
2020, COVID won it. 2019,
Oh, yes. Shane Lowry, as
Correct.
previously
Yeah.
discussed.
2018.
James, any thoughts on this?
Was that Stuart Singh?
What? 2018?
Is that way before?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Am I going to have to do this myself? Yeah.
Probably.
You can sub him out if you want. That's an absolute
I might.
howler.
Can I get producer Dex in here?
Dex, any ideas? 2018? Just exhaled.
Yeah. No.
You're on your own, Lewis.
Molinari.
Molinari, I will let you away with that because James was worse than a man down.
See the year before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Stuart Sink was not 2018.
No, that's completely fine.
2017.
Yeah, Molinari was 2017.
No.
Yeah.
Molinari was 18.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
You said Molinari, so I'm letting
Yeah,
you have that.
right.
Molinari was 18. 17.
James, anyone?
Ben Hogan, probably.
Ben Hogan.
2017, that was.
You guys are good at this stuff downstairs.
Yeah, I know.
But
it's
now
tough.
that the pressure's
Yeah.
on.
I'm terrible at this. I thought.
Oh, lads, you have
Yeah,
absolutely...
Forget it.
Oh, it was
No
Jordan
idea.
Spieth.
Yeah,
Going back
Jordan
further, so I'm going to
Spieth.
take you
Yeah,
back as
no.
far as 2002, which is where I thought you'd get to. I'm absolutely disgusted. Homework for you two.
No, I mean,
17
I can,
Spieth, 16 Stenson, 15 Zach, 14 Rory, 13 Phil Mickelson, 12 Els, 11 Darren Clark, 10 Oosthuizen, 9 was Stuart Singh,
Fucking hell, that was it.
8 Harrington, 7 Harrington, 6 Woods, 5 Woods, 4 Todd Hamilton, 3 Ben Curtis in 2002, where I thought you would get stuck was Ernie Els. Lads, what the hell was that?
I was waiting
Anything you want to say in your defence?
I mean, I can't remember what I did this morning, so my memories are sieve. I'm the worst person when it comes to that.
Just what you information you
Yeah.
could have used 5 minutes ago. Lewis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would have been good. I think after 2015, they would have done all right, but this man was not helping me. I was confused. Yeah, he
I can
whispered
sense,
something. I didn't. I was like, should I go for it? I was
I'm
like, yeah,
sensing
say what
another
you want.
car style
That's
tiff
fine,
coming up.
let's
So
just
let's go
move
to the
on.
break
Yeah,
just
please.
now. Coming up in part 2, we'll be talking about more of the contenders for the Claret Jug, as well as some talking points, not least, why hasn't there been a British winner since Paul Lawrie in 1999? We will try to answer that question with a little sideways look at ice cream in part 2. Do not go anywhere.
Ready to tee off in one of Europe's finest golf destinations? Discover the beauty of Lisbon with Glencore Golf Holidays. Enjoy sunny weather, stunning coastal views and world-class golf courses, all hand-picked by our experienced team. Plus, we've just received the FIFO 10 Years of Proven Trusted Service Award in 2025. Visit glencoregolf.com or call 01904 406 550 to book your dream golf holiday today. We're members of Protected Trust Services to ensure complete consumer protection and full compliance with package travel regulations.
The Bunkered Podcast, brought to you by the new Elite Driver from Callaway.
Welcome back. Part 2 of this week's Bunkered Podcast. Very special open preview podcast in association with Callaway Golf. Michael, James and Lewis here with you. I'm still reeling from that awful performance on the quiz. You guys would be first to go in Squid Game.
Yeah,
Like,
bright lights got the better. of us there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. You would not make it to
Yeah.
the second game.
Just as well, I was here. We wouldn't have got past 2023.
Yeah, and James, you were worse than Amanda.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
was.
That was one of the worst quiz performances I have ever seen.
look, at the end of the day, right, I'm not the brightest or the sharpest tool in the shed. So, I'll take that on board. Fine, I don't care. Whatever.
What an admission. Anyway, right.
Basically, I'm thick, and I don't
Don't
hide.
turn it into this.
I
where we
don't.
need
I don't
to say
hide.
it,
I don't
because-
hide from it.
Has anyone
but
got
it's
the
just
world's
like,
smallest violin? Jeez. Right.
Yeah, Lewis has still got it for his ribs.
The Open obviously means that we go big on content. And coming up over the course of this week, you're going to get more from Bunker than you have ever had. Remember, our Open preview, you can still read that with the latest edition of the magazine, which is on sale now. Charlie Hull on the front cover, available from all good news agents. A handful of shit ones as well, but all the good ones, stock it. In terms of digital, well, that's where it's going to be at for us when we're at Royal Portrush. We're going over en masse, and we will be providing all the updates you want, all the latest news, and we'll be showing you behind the scenes as well from Portrush throughout the week. Best way to get the information that is most relevant to you is to sign up for our newsletter. You'll get a daily email newsletter sent to you in time for breakfast every single morning, which will be documenting all the latest talking points, the latest news, giving you opinions, views, and the insider scoops from within the ropes. We'll also be doing our daily commute podcast as well, which have proven very popular in years gone by. I'll be there throughout. We'll be bringing on our usual string of special guests. So look out for that. They'll be available every morning in time for you jumping in your car or going for a run or whatever it is you do before you go to work. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for all of that. The newsletter, to sign up for that, go to bunker.co.uk, follow the on-screen instructions, and obviously podcast. Well, you're listening to this already, so you pretty much know where to get them. As I say, they'll be available from Tuesday morning onwards right through the week, 30 minutes or so in length. Gents, let's talk about some more of the contenders for the Claret Jug. The man who is bringing it to Portrush, whose name is the most recent one to be engraved on it, is James.
Xander Shaw.
There you go. See,
Making progress.
It's right there, correct. Xander's the defending champ. Obviously, came through in the final day at Royal Troon last year. Lewis, it's a bit of a rough time since then, though, hasn't he?
He was sitting in his press conference like before the Scottish Open, saying he walked to the toilet in the media centre and his picture is like up beside it. And he was like, "Yeah, that's a pretty good analogy for how my game is at the moment."
What?
Yeah, there's something to that effect,
Oof.
which really harsh on himself. But I think he's probably overstating how bad it's actually been. He's got high expectations. Clearly won
Well, yeah.
2 majors last year, and it's not lived up to that. But yeah, seems to be very down on himself at the moment.
So he's
which
had
is
some
maybe a
injury
little-
niggles as well, hasn't
Yeah.
he? So it's not just a total loss of form. Is it
It's
just
not.
injury or is it somewhere else?
Yeah, he mentioned that he had to. It was his ribs, actually, I believe.
Oh, well, you're the man to talk about
and
that.
he
Jeez,
had
here we
to-
go.
I can relate. Me too.
completely shut things off at the start of the year. And since then,
Yeah.
he's sort of described it as chasing his game, really.
Yeah.
Which isn't a great place to be in for someone of his level. But you look at his finishes and he's doing okay, just not quite the same level. He just says he's a little bit off, and
Yeah.
he didn't pinpoint one specific point in his play that's really letting him down. It's just a bit of
Yeah.
everything that's not quite clicking.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's still world number 3.
Exactly.
I know.
We don't know yet how he's finished at the Scottish Open, but
Uh-huh.
He only had one top 10 this year.
well, I'm just looking at that. That was what the Masters.
Masters.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, apart from
think
that,
11th
61st at the Travellers,
Yeah.
12th US Open, Memorial tied 25th, PGA tied 20. He's also not played a huge amount.
No.
You know, once between the PGA and the US Open, once between the US Open and the Open. Is this a consequence of some of the? Is it injury or is it technical?
He says he's fully fit now. So he says
Okay.
he's not having to manage his schedule in any way. So sort of
Right.
the less reps, as Tiger used to call it, isn't because he's trying to keep himself fit. But having said that, the fact that he didn't touch a club for such a long time over the off season probably had an impact. Like you said, he's not quite. It's not quite there. It's hard to kind of put your finger on. Sometimes you play golf to sort of any level. You know that feeling where you don't quite have your A game, but all it takes is one round for everything to kind of click into place. You can go out, Xander can shoot a 64, and all of a sudden he gets that feeling back in his hands. So people are talking about it as if it's a massive slump. I don't quite see it that way. I think he'll come into this in better form than what we were expecting.
What he's not doing is missing cuts.
Yep.
You know, I'm looking at
Yeah.
his record here. I actually can't find a missed cut in the last 2 years. I think he's on the longest cut streak of any active player, and I think the longest cut streak since Tiger Woods.
Mhm.
But he's not doing necessarily, as you said, James. He's not contending. One
Yeah.
top 10 all year ain't the best. But yeah, interesting to see how he defends. Defending the Open, a notoriously difficult thing to do. No one has successfully done so since Padraig Harrington in 2007, 2008. I'm saying it's notoriously difficult, unless your name's Peter Thompson. James, what do you expect from Xander? Is it too much to think that he can go back to back?
Based on the way he's playing, yes.
Mhm.
But I think the Open is just, it's one of those courses, not one of those courses. It's one of those, like Links is that kind of style of course where you don't need to bomb it. Like you don't need to hit it long. So if he is managing and he's maybe still got like a little niggle in the back of his head, you don't really need to go out all guns blazing on that kind of style of course. You just need to position it. Even if you're hitting it 250, you're going to roll out 300 yards.
Yeah.
So you're still going to have like a fairly like nice distance into these greens. So I don't think it's out of the question, but just based on the way he's been playing this year alone,
No.
I just don't see it. But who knows? He could turn up and he could actually, shoot 64 out of nowhere and we're like, oh my God, he's back.
The man on paper that is the man to beat is probably Scotty Scheffler, James. As we know, though, paper's one thing, the Open's played in grass. So is he in reality the man to beat?
It's going to be an interesting one because he's never played at Portrush. So it's a first time for him there. His kind of track record in links isn't the best,
It's not the worst either.
but it's not the worst either. So it could be one of those where we actually see the Scotty Scheffler we think we're going to see
All right, okay.
this time round, I think. But, he number one in the world. He's the best iron player. He's great off the tee. He's great at everything.
I mean, Lewis, do you think we overstate this? The Scheffler's not amazing on links. He's only played in 4 Opens before, and he's been top 10 in 2 of them.
Yeah, I think we overstate it slightly. Yeah, we spoke about it before, and it's the reason we say that is because it's a small sample size.
Yeah,
like you say, he's grown up in the USA. He doesn't play that often, but he's done fine when he has. Like, not been.
I mean, his first go in the
like
Open, he finished in the tie for 8th.
Yeah, he doesn't get there and forget how to hit these brilliant shots.
No.
And looking at conditions, like forecast, I know we're a long way out, but it should suit him. You're talking about, is he actually the man to beat? Because, like you say, the Open is played on grass and sand and everything else. Yes, he is the man to beat. He's the best golfer in the world. He, by his standards, maybe not quite hit the heights that he wants to, but of course he's the man to beat. If he plays his best, then there's only one person who can match him, and that's Rory, if Rory plays his best.
Yeah.
And he is the person to beat. I think we will see him right up the top of the leaderboard on Sunday and potentially getting his name in the Claret Jug. No, it's one of those things you can sort of overthink it with Scotty Scheffler and think someone who's a complete novice, like doesn't know about their golf, they look at that and think, oh, he's the best player.
Yeah.
We might try and be too fancy and look at like someone who's a bit further down the leaderboard and, they're actually a really good putter and when they're on their game. But when you really sit back and think about it, Scheffler's the best in the world.
Yeah.
Like, there's no point overcomplicating that. So it doesn't matter where it is. Like, I think I said he could win on Mars. Like, doesn't mean just because he doesn't play that much links golf doesn't mean he can't win the Open.
Yeah, I think it comes down to, you mentioned it at the start, it's going to be putting. And I think, we have seen Scotty struggle with the putter in the past. Obviously, his putting has improved, but it could come down to those 1 or 2 putts which kind of slip by, I reckon.
I think it's the biggest strength of his game now, to be honest. The changes that he's made with Phil Kenyon in particular. Rory did him a big favour by suggesting that he moved to a mallet putter.
Go get a Spider.
18 months or so ago. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I hear you. You're looking at, if we're talking about putting, I'm looking at the top 5 in strokes gained putting on the PGA Tour this year. I'm going to caveat this straight away. Yes, I know the courses are different. The grass is different. The style of greens is different. It's almost chalk and cheese to compare the greens at Portrush to the greens at the John Deere Classic. I understand that, but the basic principle around getting the ball to the hole doesn't change a whole lot. Top 5 currently in reverse order. 5th is Rory. 4th, Jacob Bridgman. Jacob could walk in here right now and I have no idea who he is.
He's a good guy.
Then you've got Sam Ryder, 3rd, Harry Hall, 2nd, and Sam Burns, coming off the back of disappointment at the US Open, is currently leading strokes gained in putting. Looking for Scotty Scheffler's name, and he is down in 15th. So, listen, that's not a bad place to be. If you told me you're the 15th best putter in the PGA Tour, I'd go, yeah, okay, you've got a great chance.
Yep.
We'll talk more about some of the interesting names like Harry Hall and so on, because there's another name there I want to pick up when we get to dark horses. But yeah, on Scheffler, of course he's the man to beat. Yeah. It was a rhetorical question I was asking. He's the world number 1. If he wins as well, let's be honest, we go into next year and he is a US Open away from completing the career Grand Slam. He's on 4 majors if he wins this week. Oh my word. Yeah, Scotty. If you beat Scotty Scheffler at Portrush, you're probably winning the Claret Jug as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Assuming the conditions again are as they are and there's not one half of the draw gets shafted, another half doesn't. But the early signs from the Met Office are that that's not necessarily going to be the case. James, talk to me about Bryson DeChambeau, because we're talking about guys there, we're talking about Scheffler's relative struggles in the Open, and I would argue that's not the case. Bryson, you could certainly make the case for being a guy who has historically struggled with the Open Championship. Played in it 7 times, only 1 top 10 to his name.
Yeah.
What does he need to do to change that? What does he need to figure out about links golf? Because he's the guy with a scientific, analytical mind that is probably going to spend the most time thinking about links golf and how to crack that code.
It's an interesting one. I actually walked a couple holes with him in the practice round at Troon with Lance Wheeler, CEO of Crank, and we were talking about his driver. And one thing that Bryson will always do is die on the driver. But watching him hit driver on certain holes, he wasn't really taking the wind into consideration as much because it's colder, the ball's moving a little bit further, but he really did struggle at Troon with the driver, and I think he's kind of. We've seen him at the Masters as well. He plays a better strategy now there than when he did at the start, but I think he just needs to be smarter with his course management personally. I think he hits the ball an absolute mile. There's certain holes where he should take advantage of it, and there's certain holes where he should just hit, to be honest, a driving iron off most tees and just get the ball running. But obviously, speaking with Lance, he's just like, you're never really going to be able to change his mind because he's always going to want to hit driver when he wants.
And when he's so good with it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I can hear the critics already saying, "Oh, but there's only 50 players or whatever." Yes, it's a small sample size on Live, but he is the leader in driving distance so far in Live this year, and comfortably so. He's averaging 331 off the tee. When you have that in your locker,
you want to take advantage.
Of course,
of it.
you do.
And I completely understand that as well. But I just think there's times and a place, but he just couldn't seem to tame it when it comes to the links golf. Slightly colder air, ball moves a little bit more, especially when it comes off the sea. Like you need to really start the ball a little bit further out because it gets affected by it so much. So obviously warmer air in America, a little bit more humidity, not going to move nearly as much. But yeah, links golf's just a different beast, and I think I hope he does a little bit better this year because he is great for the game. But I think if we see him have, a good tournament off the tee, he's going to be right up there as well.
We also don't want Bryson missing the cut, Lewis.
No,
because as James says, he's a great entertainer. He is one of the game's best entertainers. Love him, loathe him, whatever.
Yep.
He missed the cut at the US Open, and I think, for me anyway, he was a bit of a miss over the weekend.
He
wasn't part of it.
Well, we've been so used to seeing Bryson at the top of the leaderboard. That's one of the first cuts that he's missed in a major in a long time. Well, till last year's Open, I believe. And since
it's the first
then,
cut he'd missed in the major in 3.
Yes, right. Well,
but I know what you mean. He tends not to. He's not a guy who misses
and he's
punch.
contended in a lot of majors recently. And when he does, the game is more entertaining for it because, like you say, he gets the driver out, hits it as hard as he can, and that gets him in some interesting points. So yeah, I really hope that he does make the cut. I just don't know. I can't work out. Bryson clearly can't work it out either on links courses. I think there's too many variables that we spoke about at the start. Shane Lowry is the polar opposite in that he's got great hands and will just see a shot and play it.
Yeah.
Bryson doesn't seem like that at all. It's very analytical, which is a good thing.
Plays by numbers, doesn't
Plays
he?
by numbers, yeah. And sometimes that's absolutely great, but for the Open Championship, it's not working for him right now.
Is there a concern he's going to come into this week a little bit undercooked relative to certainly the top 5 in the world who are all playing the Scottish Open? Bryson and the rest of the Live guys are playing at Valderrama for Live Golf Andalusia. I mean, Valderrama's not a links course, but I'll tell you what, having played it a couple of times, basic principle's the same.
Yeah.
Keep the ball in play, hit fairways, hit greens, because the penalty for missing is massive. I mean,
so tight.
It's so tight. So we talk a lot about getting links reps, but for somebody like Bryson, who plays the game a different way and wants to put the ball in specific spots, maybe Valderrama is a good warm-up.
No, I don't think so. No, I think the Scottish Open is a much better warm-up, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You talk about trying to get the ball in the right places, that's all well and good, but in terms of grass condition and conditions that you're going to be playing in,
Undulations,
all that kind of stuff, Valderrama, I've not played it, but I'd be shocked if you
recommend
could
it.
draw. Okay, yeah.
It's really good.
You hated it at first, didn't you? And then
massively.
You love it now.
Couldn't figure it out. That was the problem.
Okay.
And second time I played it, I knew exactly
what you had to do.
The sort of nuances of it.
You
like
learn
the second
very
hole,
quickly.
you stand up on it and you think, stand on the second tee at Valderrama and you think, I've just got to bomb this straight down the middle.
Yeah.
Well, if you bomb it straight down the middle, you're blocked out by the world's biggest cork tree. What you actually want to do is hit a bit of draw into the left portion of the fairway. That's the best place to be. That opens up the green. And when you don't know that and you don't have a caddy and you're just going by a course guide that you're glancing at, you're in all kinds of all worlds of trouble. But once I figured it out, loved it. I think it's a really cool strategic test, which is where I draw the parallel. Even though it's not a links course in any way, shape, or form, that's where I draw the parallels, because there are very, very specific spots that you can put your ball in, and everything else is a no-go.
Yeah.
Which I think focuses the mind. And when your mind is somebody like Bryson, who needs to be very focused, I think, even though he's not going to be hitting the type of shots, when it comes to hitting it in the right spots, I think Valderrama could be a good warm-up for him.
I can kind of see what you're saying, but I think, I'm going to go back on what Lewis has said. I think the one thing that Bryson does is, because he is very robotic and he just hits the same shot and tries to hit the same. Obviously, he's got one-length irons and all this kind of stuff too. He's very deliberate, and he won't flight the ball. And I think you need that when you're playing links golf, just to be able to hit those different shots. Now, don't get me wrong, phenomenal golfer, and he probably does have that in the locker. But I think with him playing at Valderrama and not necessarily getting, reps in playing links golf, I think it may come back to bite him in the ass a little bit.
We'll see.
We
He's
will.
holding the Claret Jug. I'll be pointing at you guys and laughing.
I'll believe it when I see
I'll be going to Bryson's after party as well. I knew it. I knew you were absolutely right all along.
I said it.
For me, the big thing for Bryson, staying patient. Absolutely staying
Don't
patient.
chase it.
It's, we say it all the time with golf tournaments, the US Open, you need to stay patient. The Open, you absolutely need to stay patient. As you say, James, don't chase it, don't force it. Put the ball in the right spots.
Yeah.
Keep calm, even when the conditions don't.
Yeah. Bryson's his own worst enemy.
You said it. Let's talk dark horses.
Yes.
We've spoken about some of the main contenders, Rory, Xander, Scotty, Bryson. Let's talk dark horses. Who do you fancy, Lewis, to emerge from the pack and cause a Brian Harman style upset?
Someone maybe cut from same kind of mold as Brian Harman, Harris English.
Oh, okay.
A really good putter on his day. And as we've alluded to, if you can hold lots of putts around the Open, then you can get the job done. Someone like Cam Smith, Brian Harman, they've done it.
Harris English currently 17th strokes gained putting on PGA Tour this year.
Exactly, yeah. And when he's hot with the putter, he's very hot. So, yeah, it might not be the most exciting name to see at the top of the board, but Brian Harman-esque upset, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked to see Harris English come out on top. So, dark horses, yeah, for me, he kind of jumps off the page. And then maybe not a dark horse because he's ranked so high in the world, but Russell Henley, who's, again,
I feel like he under-delivers in majors, though. I know he won, was it Bay Hill earlier this year? It's major record, though.
He's not been there. But he is incredibly good. I think that's going to change at some point. But if I had to pick one dark horse, it'd be Harris English.
Okay. James, how about you?
I've got a real dark. Lee Westwood.
I really like that shout, by the way. That is such a good shout.
Because one thing that he proved in last chance qualifying, like he plays incredible golf. But
Final qualifying.
Not
last chance doesn't start till next year.
Sorry. He'll probably be there again. But Lee Westwood, obviously.
Well, not if he wins it.
Yeah, true. But I think he actually played really well in 2019 when he was there. He finished.
It was top 10, wasn't he?
Tied fourth. So, I mean, he was -6 in comparison to Shane Lowry, who's -15. So, a long way off it. But obviously, played very, very well around that course. And he has played very well, obviously, last chance qualifying. So,
Final qualifying.
Last chance. Final qualifying. But yeah, I think Lee Westwood.
Seeing now why he struggled with that quiz.
Wasn't getting much help.
I do love the Lee Westwood shout. I think that's a very, very good one. Kind of feels like pressure's off a little bit as well. Like I know that he'll give it the old, I'm a competitor, I'm here to win, but his expectation levels won't be what they were in 2019, for example. So I think a Lee Westwood that is unburdened by his own expectations, that pressure of being the best golfer, never to win a major, which he's probably used to by now. I think that unburdened player is probably quite a dangerous player.
Yeah.
Then again, you have to think about Rory, of what we said about him. Did he need the burden? Well, Rory got it done. Westwood hasn't. So yeah, we'll see. I like Westwood as a shout. I really do.
It'd be a great story, but I don't see it personally.
Winning, we'll see. But if he's up there,
being somewhere,
not even slightly surprised.
Okay,
not even slightly. So I like it. I'm going to go with another Englishman, Harry Hall, like I mentioned earlier, second currently in the PGA Tour in terms of
putting stats.
Putting stats. he is, you know what? He has so quietly made his way into the top level of the game. He's been over there in the PGA Tour for a couple of years, plying his trade, plugging away. Currently the world number 75.
Yep.
But again, look at his recent results. 13th at the Rocket Classic, top 10 at the Travelers, Canadian Open 24th, Charles Schwab, he was 6th. Since a bit of a ropey start to the year, he missed the cut at Cognizant, then the Players, and did he not miss the cut somewhere else as well? I might be wrong, I certainly remember those ones. He's really sort of settled, and he now looks like a guy that's totally at home, playing the highest level alongside the world's best players. But he grew up playing golf courses like this.
That's true.
He's from the southwest, isn't he? Cornwall or Devon or one of those. This is the kind of golf he grew up playing. He's a proper student of the game. Jim Barnes is his hero.
Right.
You know, for everyone else his age, Tiger Woods is a hero. I don't know. I see something in him that really excites me. Dark horse for the Open, dark horse for the Ryder Cup for me, Harry Hall.
Really?
100%.
There's something about Harry Hall. I don't know, like, I don't really know much about him, like, away from the course. He wears his fancy hat and
his
his
flat cap, I think
just
that's
under
a
the
tribute
radar
to Jim Barnes.
Right, well, he just sort of keeps himself to himself,
Yeah.
and you don't hear, like, big stories away from the course about him, but yeah, which makes him a good dark horse.
Absolutely, yeah.
He's the classic, like, when you're watching with people who maybe aren't golfers, and Hall, who's that? Like, oh yeah, Harry Hall, like PGA Tour player at English.
Amazing name as well. In full.
Great name.
Harry Philip Bowden Hall.
That's a good middle name. Bowden.
Amazing. Lives in Las Vegas currently. Yeah, like I say, he has won on the PGA Tour. Granted, it was the ISCO Championship, the opposite field event to the Scottish Open last July. But won at a playoff, a 5-man playoff, so he's clearly got some stones about him. This is going to be his Open debut.
Right.
He's only played in a couple of majors previously. But yeah, I like you, Lewis, I can't put my finger on why I'm excited and intrigued by him.
Yeah.
I just know I am. He's got something about him.
Yeah,
so.
he does.
First time
We'll
major champions, you know, there's a lot of players out there. We talked about Lee Westwood having the tag of best never to win a major. It's a bunch of guys who, unless they do something in the next couple of years, are going to be legitimate contenders for that dubious distinction.
Yep.
Who do you see as the most likely of the players in the field this week to get that monkey off their back, James?
Tommy Fleetwood is one of them.
What a popular winner he'd be.
Yeah, I think he finished second as well in 2019 too. So he obviously had a very good tournament. Been playing some really good golf. I know he obviously missed out and had a bit of a shocker in winning.
He didn't close it, did he?
No, he didn't. But I think he's got a point to prove going into this Open as well. I think Bob Mack, again, he's come into a bit of run of form, obviously finishing second in the US Open. But he's also finished, I think it was tied 6th as well in 2019.
Yeah, on his major debut.
Yeah, so he's obviously a fan of the course, and he's taken the time to come back and actually play a bit of links golf, which we've seen in Machrihanish as well. And then obviously at Renaissance too. So yeah, I think Bob Mack, Tommy Fleetwood, I think I'd just love to see one of those two take it home.
I'm looking down the world rankings just now, and you know the top 5 all have a major win to their name. Then it's your man Russell Henley, 6th, Lewis. After that, you're going to Ludwig Oberg and Sepp Straka, Victor Hovland, Tommy Fleetwood, Bob Mack, Maverick McNeely, Ben Griffin. Who stands out for you?
Bob, again, like James has said, I really do think that he has all the tools to win major championships. He performs so well in them. Like, Russell Henley is a good example of someone who does so well in PGA Tour, but then maybe struggles in the majors.
Can't quite take his game to that level.
Can't quite take it. Bob can take it, and he
Yep.
did that back in 2019, which is a great sign. He drives the ball so well. That's probably like the best part of his game. And when you can do that, then you can kind of play at any golf course. Take that onto a links course, which Bob's grown up playing, has been playing recently, will be playing this week. And he's just coming off a bit of time back home, which is when Bob seems to play his best after being
That's
back
what brings out the best in Bob.
in Oban. Honestly, I think everything is kind of stacking up for him here. That doesn't mean that it's going to work out that way, but all signs kind of point to him doing well this week. I'd love to see it. and I would not be shocked to see him win either. Another name that you mentioned there, Hovland, someone who we just never know what we're going to get. But I think
He's a bit of an enigma, that.
Yeah.
total
isn't he?
enigma. He's someone who could finish top of the board or bottom of the board, and you think, yeah, it's Victor Hovland.
Makes
I'm
sense.
expecting that. But he's going to put it all together at some point, isn't he? Like
Well, you'd hope so.
he's had
Well,
did well at the US Open.
he almost won in
yeah.
St Andrews as well when Cam Smith. won.
Well, this is
And then
kind of
bottled it in
forgotten
the final
man of
round.
that day.
Yeah.
Bottled it? That's harsh.
That is
It's-
very harsh. But yeah,
Wow.
I'd love to see one of those two do it, and I think
Yeah.
they've both got a really good chance. But for me, first time major champion like Bob, he's gonna win one at one point. I'm sure of
Yeah.
it. He's
Mhm.
If he does
contended
it-
so much.
If he
yeah.
does it this week, then he'll break that duck of, as I mentioned before the break, no British winners in the Open since
Yeah.
Paul Lawrie in 1999.
Yeah.
He'd also extend the streak,
Wow.
obviously, Bob, if he was to win it, of no English winners since Nick Faldo, but 30 odd years ago. Look, what's going on here? Why is this a thing?
No idea. It's bizarre. Like, just can't put your finger on it.
I mean, is it just simply the case that winning majors is hard and most of the best players in the world per head of population are American? Is that what it is?
probably? Yeah.
Is it Tiger Woods? You know,
Yeah.
Tiger obviously got in the way for a while too.
Yeah.
Probably.
yeah.
I don't know, but then British players do well at other majors, so why
Mhm.
not in the Open, like over here?
Well,
I-
is it just that the expectation level's that bit higher
maybe
for them, and do they deal with the pressure as well? I don't know.
I honestly do not know. I could.
There's a number of reasons. Isn't
Yeah,
there?
there's
It
so
could be-
many. Yeah.
It could be that they can't handle the pressure, which I'm not buying.
no.
It could be that winning majors is just difficult, which is absolutely the case.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or it could be another complete intangible that only the universe really knows.
Yeah.
It's a total wonder.
Just an anomaly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Like, there's no reason why. It's not like we've had a dearth of like a complete blank of any like,
Yeah.
good players coming from these shores. So it's
Like
gonna change at
you
some
were
point.
born in 1998.
Yes.
So you can't remember watching a British golfer lift the Claret Jug.
No, I don't remember seeing Paul Lawrie do it. No.
I mean, there
So,
you go.
Yeah,
That's it's got to change
bizarre.
at some point, and I'm sure that when it does, the floodgates may well open.
Possibly.
Bear in mind, this is an important one. Before Padraig Harrington won the Open in 2007 at Carnoustie, I think I'm right in saying that there hadn't been a European major champion since Paul Lawrie. So that's again
Wow.
like the guts of 7-8 years.
Yeah.
So listen, these strange little, as you put it, anomalies happen. We're currently living with one. I am quietly confident that streak will come to an end
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah. Who are you taking to?
I'll tell you when we get to picks.
Oh, right.
Ah.
Right, fine. Yeah, good.
I'm keeping those cards
Yeah.
somewhat close to
Well, I
my
had to
chest.
ask.
Yeah.
Couple of questions before we get to the picks, gents. Just to wrap up, these are the hardest questions of the lot. Lewis, first of all, come to you. What one change would you make to the Open if you could make, and if you were required, Squid Game style, to make any change to the Open? What would
Okay.
it be?
I would take the app from the Masters and take it to the Open Championship. I think
Yeah.
that is one of the best parts of Masters Week, certainly if you're watching from home,
Mhm.
that you can go, well, not even just the app, you can go on your laptop and watch any shot that has happened
Mhm.
that day, no matter where. I'd love to see that in the Open.
Brilliant technology,
Yeah,
isn't it?
before the last couple of weeks, I would have said more spots for qualifiers, but
Yeah.
that's for
Mark
qual-
Darbin, tech.
Yeah, tick in that box. I think there was more of final qualifiers this year, maybe
Mm.
one extra spot in each course, so an extra 4 players coming from
Mhm.
there. Now we've got the last chance qualifier next year's tick in that box. Now
Okay.
I'd like to see the app.
James, how about you? What change are you making?
I think there should be free local beer.
A free local beer.
Yeah. Free local beer for everyone. The atmosphere would be amazing.
You know what? I mean, that's never going to happen.
No.
But on on a more sensible point, I guess, prices. I mean, that's the
Yeah,
thing that
that's-
everyone
yeah,
complains
yeah,
about
yeah,
every
yeah.
year. They're not coming down.
No.
It'd be nice if they maybe did. I remember I've not long just come back from Wimbledon. 2 pints, guts of 19 quid. You don't need to fleece
That's
fans.
not
I
good.
get that you need to make your events profitable. I get why the RNA needs the Open to be profitable.
Yeah. They make enough in that flipping shop.
But you're right.
Also
Like,
restock it.
I think when people are on the ground, you want to encourage them to stay on the ground.
Yeah.
And it becomes almost like you kind of sabotage yourself, don't you? Because you put your prices too high. The Open should be an event you can go to from 6 in the morning till 9 at night, and you want to be in there the whole
Yeah.
time. and the RNA, want you spending money the whole time.
Yeah.
But
Give them
if
a
it
beer-
gets to like
beer
4 o'clock
token.
at night, or maybe later than that, let's say 6 o'clock at night, there's still golf happening.
Mhm.
There's still a lot out in the golf course. But if you're presented with sticking around for another couple of hours and having to pay 20 quid for a pint and a baguette, you're going to leave.
Yeah.
You are.
You're not going to spend that money. So a bit of sensibility. Be nice to the fans. Think of the people, for Christ's sake.
No, give them a beer token.
A beer token.
Yeah, beer token after 5. Stick
Yeah.
around. Happy hour.
That's one way to grow the game amongst kids, eh, James? Didn't think that through. What are you going to give them? A fruit shoot?
Nah, B2O.
Not sure this one will catch on.
I don't see it.
No.
Again, this isn't going to happen. My change. It's not going to happen for commercial reasons. I'd just like bigger grandstands. I want to see
that
more
was
seats,
the other thing I was going to say.
particularly around the 1st, particularly around the 18th. I want to see those big amphitheaters. Easier said than done. I get it, and it's even harder to do when there's no commercial appetite to do it.
Mm.
But you want to see guys being crowned in front of masses of people and big, steep stands. You want to see that Claret Jug being lifted in front of huge, big galleries.
Yeah.
I feel, I don't have the numbers to back this up, but I feel like that's the sizes of them been reducing in recent years. Enough of that. Let's bring back the
You
crowds
actually think
around
the stands are
Staples.
getting smaller?
I think
not
they are.
just Really?
It's maybe just my eye, but at Troon, yeah.
At Troon, I thought that was the case because I was St Andrews, classic example again. It's like you stood on the 17th in that massive stand behind.
Yeah.
I was like, this is
Which is
unreal.
somewhat hospitality driven.
Yeah. But still, I think it was, yeah, it was amazing. I was like, oh, if they do this and like every open, like how good is it going to be? But it just seemed like it was like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I want
It was a
something
little
that's
smaller.
more Old Trafford, less Tynecastle, essentially is what I'm after. Tynecastle may be a bad example because it is a good ground. More Old Trafford, less Pataudry.
There we go.
Yep. Nailed it.
Perfect. Take that one on board.
Finally, gentlemen, you have to take one course off the rota forever.
Royal St George's. Royal St George's.
Why?
Traffic's a flipping nightmare getting in and out of there.
Good. I'll let you have that.
Absolute nightmare.
Infrastructural reasons. Fair enough.
Absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
Lewis?
Maybe the same if the traffic's that bad. I hate traffic.
Brutal.
I was going to say Lytham, which is hard because it's sort of recency bias, but the opposite of that. And I haven't seen it since 2013, 2012, 2013, the last time it hosted an Open. So it's hard to have strong opinions on that. So yeah,
it's not a pretty golf course. Lytham.
No,
That's
it's
what
not.
counts against it. It's not. There's no sea views from any hole unless they get the drone up.
yeah.
You're that par 3. I think is it the 9th or close to the turn anyway. You're playing into basically people's back gardens.
Yeah.
So it's not bonny. It's not easy on the eye. It's a great golf course. It is a great golf course. Trouble is, it's small, really small bit of land.
Yeah. There's no
And-
bad golf courses in the Open.
Nah,
That's the
exactly,
thing.
that's it.
So yeah.
But the Open's getting bigger, not smaller.
Yeah.
And I don't see Lytham as a place that has got much capacity to get a whole lot bigger, alas. So
You think that's maybe why it's not been there recently, for the size of the property?
100%.
Yeah.
I don't see any other reason why not. It's not listed to get another go anytime soon either. I think we've got the venues locked up for the next 3 years, certainly.
Mhm.
Lytham's not one of those. So it's going to be closing in on 20 years before it's got the chance to host one. Look at recent attendances at the Open. They've all been north of 200,000, and I don't think Lytham could do that.
Right.
Certainly not
Yeah.
comfortably.
Mm.
So it's a shame. Wonderful golf course, but the championship, I think, has evolved to such a point that it's been left behind a little.
Which is your
Old course, take it off the road and watch the meltdown happen.
No, you
Just
wouldn't
for the-
actually do that though.
I mean,
would
they
you?
wouldn't, but what a laugh. Can you imagine the meltdown when that press release lands? the Old Course St Andrews will no longer host the Open Championship. I
turn in my
No.
grave.
only want to see how people would respond. But on a serious note, yeah, I think it. Reluctantly, as Alan
I
Sugar would
wasn't
say
ex-
when he's sacking people on The Apprentice, regrettably, with regrets, it's Lytham.
It's not often he does it with regret though, is it?
He's been doing it a lot more recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've not
Yeah.
been tuned in.
A bit more empathetic with age.
Getting older and just a
Right,
bit
okay,
softer, I
softened,
think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
This whole task's been a bloody disaster. Anyway, right. Finally, we are going to finish up with picks. This isn't an official podder, so I'm going to do something different here. This doesn't count towards your podder scores, gents. So I'm going to ask you to pick 2 players. Just names, please. No logic. Just let's wrap it up here. 2 players. 1 who you want to win. 2 who you think will win. James, coming to you first.
I'm going to go with Bob Mack.
For which one? Both?
Who I'd like to win.
Yep.
And I think who is going to win is Scotty Scheffler.
Lewis?
Copy and paste, unfortunately.
Really?
But I could also put Bob in the think category. I do think he'll do very well. But logic suggests that Scotty Scheffler, if you have to pick one.
I'm going to go, again, Bob. Listen, we're all Scottish, no surprise there. I would love Bob to win. I'd also love Rory to win. I think it'd be a great story. And a nice way to bookend men's major season, which is far too short.
Yep.
Absolutely far too short. What a joke. Blame the PGA Tour for that. But who do I think will win? I said it earlier that I think this is the week that a Brit is going to break the duck. And I think it's going to be Tommy Fleetwood.
Wow.
So
I would love to see it.
we'd all love to see
We
it.
all would love to see it. I don't know. I think when he gets, I don't think his first one will be a major.
I think it will be. I think
Right.
heartbreak and I think frustration is all going to come pouring out and he's going to start making the putts that he's been missing.
Okay.
I don't see him as a guy that makes bad decisions.
No.
Just think it's the putter occasionally.
Yeah.
And I think that frustration fueled by that most recent near miss is going to get him across the line. Again, maybe that's a bit more heart than head talking. Don't know. But yeah, I'll go with those.
Okay.
Gentlemen,
Let's see it.
Nice one.
enjoy the week. It is always a special one.
You
and
too.
I think it's going to be, I think this is just going to be the latest chapter in that. So have a great week.
Thank
Enjoy the championship. Producer Dex, enjoy it, whatever you're watching as well, from a surfboard, no doubt. To you watching and listening along at home, have a fantastic time with the Open. It really is special. I mean, it's as good as it gets. I have a soft spot for the Masters. I've never tried to hide it. My God, I'm wearing another Masters hoodie today. But the Open is where it began. The Open is the original, and the Open is, frankly, the best. So it comes but once a year. Clear your diary, sit back, relax, tune in, and enjoy it, because it's going to be special. Equally, make sure that you follow along with Bunkered. We'll be there every step of the way on the Bunkered website throughout the week, bunkered.co.uk. Keep listening to these commute podcasts. We're going to have some really big name and some brilliant special guests coming on. We'll be across social media as well, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, the whole lot. If you're wanting your Open fix over and above the coverage itself, we are the place to come for that. The next time you'll hear from us, we will be in Portrush, setting the scene, getting very excited with just hours to go until ball's in the air. That's what she said. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, with big thanks to Callaway, as always, it's bye-bye for now.